I'm actually going to ask you about your upbringing because you haven't, at least as far as I've seen, you haven't talked about it that much.
My
I wonder if you've thought
upbringing?
about that. Yeah.
That's a.
Musical upbringing, more specifically.
I was born into like a musical family. My dad's side was very musical.
Your dad played the bass.
Yeah, played bass.
And you have a Theo that plays.
Bass.
Yes, plays at present. You have a Theo that plays electric guitar on the dad side, I assume.
Dad side.
The Theas that sing the dad side as well.
Yeah, dad side as well.
Okay. So what's interesting to me is that none of them are mariachi musicians or ever were.
Yeah, and they love the music of mariachi too.
I believe that.
Never got into it, and they know a family that they grew up with, the Valenzuela family in Tucson, that they grew up across the street from each other. So they were around it, but they never, I don't know, they never picked up an instrument. My tias love singing mariachi. So that's something that I got to hear growing up as a kid. Like they love singing like Linda Ronstadt and all that stuff, La Malagueña and Laureles, all that good stuff.
So then how did you find your way to mariachi? Was it still through your family in some way, shape, or form?
Yes, it was through my family in a way. My sister did folklorico for Tucson High. That's where I went. So when I was a kid and when I would go to her performances, I would always enjoy the mariachi while she'd be dancing. So I did like, we were gonna sign up for our classes at the school or whatever. I'm barely going into freshman year, and then they didn't have a lot of electives, and I liked playing sports at the time. But what I saw mainly was mariachi and folklorico because everything else was kind of taken already. I registered late.
You were in middle school at the time, correct?
Going into high school, yes.
Oh, going into high school. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So 6,
but
7.
I had just finished 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so I chose mariachi. My sister was like, "Why don't you dance?" I was like, "Nah, I don't want to dance." I'm like, I'm good on that. I think if I had the mindset now, I would have been like, "Oh, okay, you know what? Yeah, that should be cool." Like,
was there
to
a
learn how to
slight
dance.
fear of judgment?
The what?
Was there a slight fear of judgment, perhaps, that prevented
I think
you?
at the time, especially since like I had a lot of friends that did sports and stuff like that, and I wanted to do sports too.
Of course.
But then I started mariachi after signing up for it, and I loved it.
So you observed mariachi and ballet folklorico. This is like 7th, 8th grade or around that time then?
I would say,
Or was it more
maybe
throughout?
6th or 7th grade. Throughout. My sister, I think she took mariachi actually, now that I remember. She took mariachi, I think her middle school years or something like that, or like late elementary. So I think I went to a performance or two of hers that I faintly remember. And then I really remember her folklorico performances, especially with the mariachi in the back, because I would always enjoy it. I enjoyed the trumpets.
Right. So when you got to high school, did you make the decision early on, freshman year, like, okay, I need to find a way to get into this? Or did that happen later on in your high school career?
Later on.
Okay.
Later on through my freshman year. I just wanted to learn mariachi on trumpet. Like I had already like picked it up a few times before. Like just trying to play it like with band class, like in elementary. But I didn't really take it seriously until I started mariachi. Like that's when I knew that like I loved it. Like, okay, like this is gonna, I don't know, like this is my new favorite hobby. So, I don't know. I picked up trumpet and there wasn't a teacher at the time. There wasn't a director when I started. He had just left, so we were stuck with a substitute teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that affect your experience?
But the learning experience was different, but we still had like the students that were in the top group at the time. I was in beginning mariachi.
Okay.
Yeah, it was mariachi 1, 2. It was like the starting raw, like for people that have never played mariachi before. So I was in that class. And I remember his name is Gingy. They call him Gingy, but his name is Esteban Dagnino. He was, yeah, you know him, right?
He does chambas with Angelica every now and then. I know exactly who he is.
Yeah, so he was in the top class. He was in the top group at the time. So he was coming to the beginning classes and like showing us what to do, how to tongue certain stuff, like how to phrase certain stuff in mariachi. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I learned how to do it. He kind of like helped me kickstart. And then our director, Justin Enriquez, had just gone in like around October. And that's when I met him. And then he like really passed on his passion to us. Like we felt the same way that he did about the music.
Was this October of your sophomore year? October of your
No,
freshman year?
freshman. This was all freshman year.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So then Justin came in.
Yeah, he came in. It was only 2 months without
Okay,
a teacher.
that's what I
It was only
figured.
August and September, but he came in October and it was perfect. It worked out through there.
Was Justin, Mr. Enriquez, was he your director all 4 years of high school?
Yep, and he's still there.
And he's still there.
He's
And
still there. I went to go visit the class actually in January when I went to Tucson.
what was that like?
Cool. It was kind of trippy because like walking in the room, I still felt like the student that I was then, like walking in that room. Nothing changed. Just now I'm one of the visitors watching the class now, watching the students rehearse and perform. It was very full circle. It was nice.
I want you to explain to me the impact that Justin had, or I'll call him Mr. Enriquez, on those very important formative years for you. You said he passed on the passion that he had to you. What was that experience
His
like?
love for the music, it was very contagious
Mm-hmm.
because he was very passionate about it. And when he would sing, he was the same way. It's like he poured his emotions into his singing. And I was like, okay, wow, like this is nice. Like I enjoyed it at the time, like very nice. So I was like, I want to try doing that. Tried singing in the shower, tried learning my favorite songs that I would hear or whatever. He put me to sing El Rey my first year into the top group. I got into the top group after my sophomore year. I got in.
Mm-hmm.
I even played with Genji too. And with Ben Hart Bergeron, Reese's
Oh,
brother.
Benjamin Bajero.
Yeah,
I
I
know
played
who
with
he is.
Ben.
Okay.
And I believe I played with, do you know who Maya Arce is? She used to play with Grupo Bella. She does like some solo stuff. I played with her too.
I'm not familiar with Maya.
Yeah, but we were all in the same group and they're here in LA now too, so I think that's pretty cool. But I don't know. I just always used Justin's form of interpreting as like my guide, like my inspiration in a way,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
What was that form of interpreting?
The way he would talk about mariachi,
Mm-hmm.
like just the way he would explain it, the way it affected his life, and the way he explained his form of interpretation, like being exaggerated with like certain words, speaking the words before you sing it, vibrato, like just it's very like for him it was very natural. Like it came to him
All of
very
those
natural.
elements.
Yeah, all of those elements were very natural of him. He lives and breathes it. Yeah.
So, do you feel like it came naturally for you, some of the aspects of the musicianship, or was there a tremendous learning curve? Whether it was the vibrato or the articulations on the trumpet, the pronunciation of the words.
The pronunciation of the words is probably what I lacked most. The vibrato came pretty fast and pretty natural, but I like my parents and like my family has always told me like you get it from your grandfather. Like,
Jose Pepe.
yeah. My dad's dad. And he was a hell of a vocalist. He was natural. He never took any classes or anything. He just knew how to sing. He would get contracted for like weddings and like masses just to sing like Ave Maria or another song that he would sing there at the churches.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a carpenter.
Like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. Really cool. I never got to see him perform live though.
Mm.
The first time I heard him sing was his funeral. They played a recording over the church. Yeah. So I think that was a very important moment in my life. Knowing that I had a grandfather that sang like that. Hearing it at his funeral too was tough.
At what point in your mariachi journey did your grandfather pass away?
He passed away before.
It was before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think that in some ways was a catalyst? Did that make you think, you know what, I want to do that the way he did it?
I think so. Because I remember even after he passed away, I was looking for those recordings, asking my cousins for it, asking my dad for it. They couldn't find them.
Mm.
So I would vaguely hear like his voice in the back of my head and try to mimic that. And then once I saw the videos, where they found the tapes.
Mhm.
I think this was my junior year of high school was when they found the tapes.
Mhm.
That was when I was okay, like I want to try mimicking him. I tried recording like Ave Maria, like singing, like mimicking him, like his timbre. He would sing very, oh, like very deep, natural tenor. Yeah,
Oh, like an opera singer.
like an opera singer. And he didn't need a microphone either. He was loud. So I think it makes sense on why I'm so loud too.
Yes, you are very loud.
Yeah. Yeah, but no. I wish he was somebody that could see my performances and really like, you know, I think about him at a lot of performances. Like how different it would be if he was alive, you know?
How different the experience would be for you? What do you mean when you say how different it would
I don't
be?
know. Like hearing him sing in person, I don't know how that would have affected me. You know what I mean?
Oh, affected the way that you sing.
Not the way, well, the way that I sing, but also like just, I don't know how starstruck I would have been if I would have heard that in person because I was like that over the phone, like
okay.
over
The
speakers,
recordings. Mhm.
over the recordings. I don't know. And then like maybe he would have had some comments here and there. Maybe he would have. He most definitely would have been supportive, like going to the shows and stuff like that. Like just to see what he would think too, you know, and pick his brain on who his favorite artists were.
Do you ever talk to your dad about that?
Oh yeah.
About your grandfather's musicianship and the way he would sing and
Hmm. My grandfather loved Javier Solis.
Mm.
He loved Javier Solis, and he loved Pavarotti. He loved who's another opera singer that he loved? I don't know if he listened. I could be wrong about this. Correct me. Um, I think he liked Plácido Domingo.
Plácido Domingo.
Yeah, I think he liked listening to him.
Those, I think all three of those men are, would you classify them as tenors? Pavarotti, Plácido Domingo, and Javier Solis?
Plácido for sure. Pavarotti, I think for sure. He sounds more like a tenor. Sounds like a very natural tenor. Um, Javier Solis,
I think he's the one that might be
Maybe
slightly different.
like a baritone or something like that, like a baritone, or because he was deeper, like a deep voice. I think he's like a baritone. I think, and I always ask Fernie at the restaurant too. I'm like, what am I like when I sing? He's like, oh, I think you're a baritone. I'm
I like how you did his voice.
I know he's all deep and resonant.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Fernie. Fernie's a baritone. He's a baritone.
Mm-hmm.
His voice is very like very full and deep. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I just think if my grandfather were alive and he were to like maybe, I don't know, maybe give some tips, or if I had the chance to pick his brain a little bit more, I think these questions would have been a lot easier to answer, you know?
Right, right. Can imagine. So you found those tapes junior year. In junior and senior year, did you start to feel, maybe consolidated is not the term, but did you feel like, okay, like this is something that I'm doing for real? Like I'm in my element now.
Mm-hmm. The start of junior year was that video when I cracked on La Bikina.
I've seen that. It's on your Instagram.
Yeah, when I cracked there, that was my junior year, and that was one of the first performances of the year. And I remember the feeling I had after. I was so mad. I was so pissed at myself after. Because I was like, I think I was more mad at the fact of the way I reacted after the show. I was like very like embarrassed. I was like intimidated in a way. Like I felt very low, and I felt like I didn't want to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, nah, like forget that. I'm gonna keep practicing that way. I don't do that again. And I was really like singing along to some songs, like whether it be in the shower, whether it be home alone, whether it be during rehearsal, or like jamming out with my buddies like during lunch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just got more practice of it, and the muscle memory was starting to grow, and it was starting to get a lot easier. So I got very comfortable towards the end of my junior year because I noticed that I was like starting to feel improvements.
Mm-hmm.
And then senior year, I was really comfy. I was just like, okay, like it was a smooth ride from there. And there's videos on it too on YouTube and stuff. Like you could hear the improvements too. It's kind of crazy.
between junior and senior year.
And Justin would help me out a lot too with like coaching. Yeah. And he even encouraged me to do the vocal competition at the Tucson Mariachi Conference in 2018. And I won.
You won that in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who was with you when you won that award?
In the competition, I know.
I mean, like supporters and competitors.
My family was there. My family was there. My mom, my dad, my brother, grandparents, sister. Everybody was there. Diaz. I know so get this. I had actually tied with somebody when her name was Giselle. She's a great singer too. She sang like to Linda Ronstadt and stuff. Like she's awesome. And she sings even better now. So we had tied originally, and then I think I don't remember if they went off of like crowd vote, like for reactions. But I know that I won and I got to perform for the Espectacular concert. And that's where they have like, that's the big concert for the conference.
Do they invite guests, like whether it's Sol or Camperos or whomever the case may be?
You know who was there that year?
Who was
Sol.
there? Okay.
Yeah, Sol was there that year. They even performed like in between like the judges like getting the final results, and they performed right before they announced the winners. It's pretty cool. And I remember I was just sitting there like nervous, like on the chairs watching Sol, and I'm just enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And also like very anxious and very nervous. Yeah. So cool.
What did you sing?
I sang Amorcito Corazón and I sang Regálame esta noche.
Okay. You did multiple songs in the
I did too.
competition? Was there like 2 rounds, or was it 1 round and you decided to sing both songs?
It was 1 round. And it was 2 songs each singer. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was like that.
But
I believe so.
In any case, you sang those 2 songs.
Yeah.
Why did you choose those 2?
Those are the ones I was most comfortable with, that I sang with my high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it was a little easier for the mariachi that was backing us up too. It was more cajon, like it was something that everybody knew, you know.
Right.
And I think it was something that the crowd would have loved too. That's what Justin had told me, that like everybody knows those songs. Amorcito Infante and then Regálame is Javier Solís.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
And it worked.
yes.
Yeah.
Was that your junior year?
Senior year.
Oh, senior year you won that competition.
Oh, senior year.
Okay.
Right before I graduated.
When you graduated, what was the plan at the time for you, musically and as it pertains to your education? Or were those one and the same? Like you wanted to pursue music?
I knew that I wanted to pursue music, but I didn't know what I was gonna do. I went to nationals, actually. I went to, right after I graduated. Or you know what? Actually, let me backtrack. At the conference, I got to talk with Jose and stuff, like, because they were teaching the master class. Jorge Contreras was there, Adrian Mendoza on trumpet too. Like they were both in the section. And Jose was obviously leading the master class. And I got to talk to him for a little bit. He invited me to the Mariachi Nationals. I signed up, I went, and I was in his master class with Moises, with Sammy, the trumpet player for
Samantha
Reina.
Cabral? Okay.
Yeah. Christian, Jose's son, and Crystal. We were all in the master class that year. And I had found out that Mendoza was leaving. So I was talking with Jorge Vasquez and Fernie at the time, and they were...
Jorge Vasquez, violinist?
Violin,
okay,
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. We were hanging out a lot that week, and he was a really cool and nice guy, and he was like being really social, like with us back then. So I think I had asked Jose if I could audition. You know, just I knew I wasn't gonna get in or whatever. It was just like to get a foot in the door and just to have that experience, you know. So I auditioned behind the hangar of at the Orange County Fair, right in the middle of their 2 shows. It was like what, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Jose was playing some random stuff, and he said, "Okay, listen, find a second and come in, or like mimic what I just did with the same notes." I think he was trying to test my ear. I mean, it went decent. Yeah. Moises had ended up like already getting in at the time. Like he was already in. He was already going to rehearse with
August
them
of 2018, I think.
Yes, 2018.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what it was. Oh, so I went back home and I was playing with with Cuco del Cid's group back in Tucson, Mariachi Herencia. Cuco del Cid used to play with Camperos back in the day.
Mm.
Yeah. And he had his own group there, and he had passed away like right when I got into the group, and that was after graduating. So I was already like set over there. I was going to school, and then
Where were you going to school?
Pima. It was a Pima Community College.
Okay, this is in Tucson?
Yes.
Okay.
Tucson. Yeah, Pima, and then I went to the Mariachi conference in 2019 as a student because they gave me a free year as far as one of the prizes for winning the vocal competition.
So is Mariachi Nationals only for high school kids then?
No, it could be for anybody, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, mainly it's high school students and like elementary to middle school. But I would encourage everybody to go to Mariachi Nationals, for my personal opinion. Now being in Sol and getting the experience with them, for more than 3 years too. Jose's masterclass is basically Sol 101. Like you learn old school, you learn by ear, and it's also him like giving fills and how to phrase certain stuff with the trumpets too. Like that's how it is here in Sol. So I think even no matter how old you are, I think you should go for taking Jose's masterclass.
Okay. So you went to nationals in 2019.
Yes. No, 2018.
Right.
Summer of 2018 I went.
Summer 2018. I thought you mentioned that you went in 2019 as well, or not?
No, I went to the Tucson Mariachi conference.
Oh, the Tucson Mariachi conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went back because for winning the competition, they offered a free year.
My apologies.
I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I did it. Mariachi America was there, and Mariachi Aslan from Texas. And I think that's where they first saw me like perform because I performed with Herencia for the Mariachi Garibaldi, the festival, and they always have a mass every time. So we played for the mass.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was singing there and stuff, and I noticed that the director was there, Francisco Loera.
Francisco Loera. Okay.
So they saw me, and then they reached out to me. I think one of the violinists reached out and asked me if I was interested and if I wanted to talk to Pancho, and I was like, yeah. So we went from there, and I said yes, and I moved to Texas.
How? How were you able to
Big
move
jump,
to Texas? Yeah.
Yeah. They had a house like that they had for me and a couple other guys that were in Aslan that were from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to live there and stuff, and then I was there maybe half a year, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh, so you left summer of 2019?
Yeah.
Or thereabouts.
I had started with Aslan summer 2019.
Okay.
I think my first trip with them was off to Denver. It was like some conference or whatever. Like we weren't really playing a lot. We played like 2 to 4 songs max. But then I had my very first Aslan concert in Chicago at the Millennium Park.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a hell of a venue. Gorgeous venue.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I was so nervous. Yep. And then my third concert, second concert basically was with Aida Cuevas at the Santa Barbara Bowl. We backed her up.
Wow.
And she gave me a kiss on the cheek. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Not to brag, but I got kissed by Aida Cuevas. Pretty bomb.
That was concert number 3. And then the pandemic hits. So how did that affect your journey?
I got used to being at home again, and I missed family because out there, like I would get homesick a lot. It was my first time being away from family, and also I was like more than 14 hours away from them, like driving distance.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hard to go back home and see them. And I don't know. I wasn't as happy there as I am here in LA. Like here, I feel like I'm more occupied here, and I'm busier, and I'm learning more here, of course. And it's not like I wasn't happy over there too. It's just here's a different environment.
Mm-hmm.
You learn from anybody and everybody, honestly. And I'm always busy here too. But over there, I mean, I was over there, but also I had school and stuff, and we weren't traveling all the time like the way I do here with Sol.
Right.
And we would have shows. We'd have shows at the university, the Vargas Extravaganza every December.
When you say the university, is this University of Texas Rio Grande Valley?
Yep.
UT RGV?
That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one.
So then you transferred You were just at the community college in Tucson for a year
Yeah,
then?
and I transferred.
Okay.
Yeah, they offered me in-state tuition along with like grants.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Did you end up completing that whatever degree you were
Nope.
pursuing? Okay. Why? I think we know what happened. Well, you and the three of us in this room.
Yeah.
So was this okay? So the pandemic, that's 2020.
Yeah, 2020 happened. I was a trumpet major at the time.
Trumpet major.
Yeah,
Okay.
but under the mariachi degree. Yeah, so there's a mariachi degree, and my concentration was trumpet.
got it.
Yeah, so I did online school during the pandemic, and then in person started happening again. So I went back to Texas 2021,
Okay.
and then started living there again. Started getting used to being back in Texas again. It was nice. Like I had a new apartment, living with a couple of buddies, and the traveling started to happen. We had a Christmas tour. So I did the Christmas tour with them, and then Albuquerque. Little did I know it was going to be my last show with Taslan. I was already like getting ready to go back to Texas. Like I'm excited, and then Jose calls. And I got invited to Sol.
Jorge Contreras had just left the group
Yeah.
after 16 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So what did he say to you exactly?
It wasn't who, Jose?
Yes, in that initial message.
So he had messaged me on Facebook and on Instagram, and I was like, is this really happening? Like, is it like that's kind of crazy? Like, do I need to audition? Like, do I need to send any videos? So I thought, okay, let me ask him if I could call him, like, so we can talk about this over the phone.
Okay.
He was telling me that Jorge was leaving after 16 years, and that he's interested in me coming in to join. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what do I have to send? Do I need to send you like playing a son or playing a ranchera? He's like, no, just come work with us already. You can go get the suits and you could get started. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, well, this is my situation. I'd have to get my stuff out in Texas. I'd have to prepare, I have to find a place to live. And luckily one of my best friends, Nick, he was living in East LA. So I stayed with them for a little bit, and we ended up finding a house in Culver City. So I got to settle there. I got the suits fixed, and then I started at the restaurant on Dia del Mariachi.
Where is Dia del Mariachi?
If I'm not mistaken, that's the 21st of January. I know it was that day.
Is that house the house that's adjacent to Casa Sanchez?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the house. Yeah, we were there because Nick and Monica were my roommates at the time.
Monica Salinas, violinist for Reina de Los Angeles.
And they were working at Casa Sanchez, and there was an extra room, and Nick had offered me that room. So I was like, cool, like I'm set.
Amongst musicians.
Yeah. Amongst musicians and friends, yes.
Of course.
It was nice.
So your first show was Dia del Mariachi.
At the restaurant.
I remember you saying there's a 3-month, I don't know what you would call it, trial period, probation period. What would you call it?
I would say like a 3-month trial probation.
Okay. So how did you manage that? I've also heard you say that you were very like nervous.
Oh, extremely.
In the first 3 months.
I don't know what I was doing there, honestly.
Why did you feel...
just hearing those musicians, seeing those musicians, and being on stage with them, like it was just a whole different ball game. I had never experienced anything like that before.
Not even with Aslan?
With Aslan, the musicians are good. They're all talented musicians, but it's like these musicians, they have a certain how do I say this? Like a certain routine. In other words, like when I first got into Sol, I didn't know that they rehearsed in the back room between set, or like it's every time. Now still to this day, like we always make sure that to fix parts that we we messed up or whatever on stage, or that we didn't know. Like for example, because a lot of people call out like songs, like certain random songs.
People call out songs, and then what happens?
Let's say I'm not secure on a part. I would ask like Moises at the time, like what are the notes for this? Like during the break, it's just for an example, But when I got in the group, I didn't know that that's how it was at the time. I remember Guti especially. I remember I was sitting at the bar, like I was hungry. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go sit down. I'm gonna eat. I remember Guti comes out and he goes, hey, come here. And he goes, get your trumpet. He ponte a practicar. Because it was right after we got off stage. And obviously I wasn't up to par. So he was like, you better get your trumpet and you better catch up. I was like, oh shoot, okay. I got so scared right there. Like I was like, okay, this is not gonna happen again. Yeah. But you know what? If it wasn't for that, I mean, I don't know what would have happened. But yeah, it was a kick in the butt that I needed.
Okay. So then, do you remember when Jose told you, like, okay, ya estás consolidado, like you're here. The 3 months is over.
He never said anything like that.
Okay. So
In
then,
fact,
so how did you know that?
Well,
you
they had
arrived?
announced on Instagram that I was in the group like maybe a month and a half in, 2 months in.
Mm,
He had Anissa made like a post and stuff, and they posted on the Sword page.
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew that I knew just because I was there and I was playing with them already, I knew that like it wasn't like, oh, okay, like now that I'm here, I get to chill and relax and just do my thing. No,
Right.
it's still a whole learning game. You're still a student. Even now to this day, like I'm still learning as much as I can. I think I could be doing more, but I know that I'm still like wanting to learn as much as possible here. And that's how some of the other guys are too, even the ones that have been molded for more than 5-6 years. It goes for all of us, you know.
There's a constant learning process then.
Constant. Even Fernie has told me, and he's been in the group for over 20 years, and he's still learning stuff.
What's something that you learned recently then?
Mainly, it's been on the trumpet, like just especially on the trumpet. I'm always learning something new with Jose, like certain attacks, like playing in tune. Like it's just little details, stuff like that. I don't know what example I can give that.
The other day, you sang Sabor a Mí. Cárdenas sang that
Oh,
song.
yeah,
Jorge
yeah, yeah.
Cárdenas.
Yeah.
And I noticed you hit that first note on the very brief solo that you did really, really hard. Is that on purpose? Because I feel like on the recording, it's softer.
On the solo?
On the solo recording,
trumpet solo.
Or is that note as attacked?
Yeah, the way I did it, I don't remember the way I did it.
What key do you do that in?
La. Yeah, I do it in la.
A ver, can you demonstrate that briefly?
On singing or
No,
trumpet?
the solo.
From the very beginning or the solo?
Just the solo. So I think, is it like...
Right there? I know that's like the really basic, but I think the way I did it when Jorge was singing it, I think I did something. I did something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I like changing it up, and especially like hearing Jose do some stuff. Like I kind of like to impersonate him. I try my best to impersonate him.
Mm-hmm. Patrick once said, "We play the way that we sing."
A phrase that's thrown around a lot within this group is "we play the way that we sing."
So what does that mean to you when you're playing a solo like that? We play the way that we sing.
I know when Jose usually explains it, he mimics his singing vibrato, and that's kind of like what his playing sounds like. It sounds like his singing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a stylistic thing too. Like the way he phrases certain stuff singing is the way he's gonna phrase it on trumpet. And I'm still learning how to kind of mimic my own voice in a way. I think I should probably do that more and analyze like my singing while I practice, so I can mimic myself more. But I know that's the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
On the subject of your singing, do you feel like at times it's like nasal, not in a bad way, but like I remember I heard you sing, I'd never heard you sing a Los Cuatro Vientos until New Year's.
Yeah.
And so like it's very dramatic. Quiero gritar. Like there's a lot of vibrato on that.
There's a lot of power on that one, especially
On
like
that
in that
particular-
key in re. It's on kind of like on the brink of like my register.
On the edge
On the edge, yeah.
of the vocal range.
Oh, my it's like my comfortable range, like up there in the higher register. Past G, That's like when it gets a little challenging. That's like a Sol.
For that particular song.
And my range in general, like singing chest voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so have you learned like to vibrate on the trumpet as well as you do it vocally? Because I think vocally it just seems very smooth and very robust.
It comes
When
very
you
easily
vibrate.
vocally. With
Uh-huh.
trumpet, it's a little bit more physical and a little more challenging. Especially
Mhm.
getting each vibrato like very centered and very controlled.
By centered, you mean like
The pitch.
the pitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's like my Achilles heel. I always like I tend to go sharp, or
Mhm.
sometimes like if I get tired, I go flat. With singing, it's just I think it just comes so natural to where like I know exactly like what to do when I get
Is it like
tired.
second
Or
nature almost? You
almost
don't even think about it?
in a way, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I'm just I've been so used to it, and it's like I love it to the point where like I know how my voice is like, and I know when I'm getting tired. I know when I'm tending to strain, or like when I know when I feel really good too. So I don't know. Like it's a little bit harder for me to explain that because it comes like second nature now.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right. On the subject of singing, I wanted to ask you if you were asked to come up with a set list, if it was your responsibility for a dinner show, which is what, an hour? Is it an hour and change, or is it an hour?
Like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, let's call it 45.
Yeah.
And then Grijalva was like, hey, you're doing the show tonight.
Like I call out the show.
Like you call the shots and we want you singing like 30 out of the 45 minutes.
Oh, like I would be singing most of the songs.
What would that look like?
I have no clue.
Have you ever thought about that?
I have, but it also depends on the crowd too.
Mm-hmm.
What like, because certain crowds react differently, and I've noticed that like especially on Sundays. There's some crowds where they're really like into it, like they love the rancheras, they love the boleros, they love anything and everything that we play. But there's also crowds where we feel really good and we're singing good and we're going off, and the crowd's just like cough clap, like they're kind of like they're there and they're interacting, but not like the other ones, like in the mornings, for example, like or like I don't know, like there's just you have a very electric crowd at times, and you have a very dead crowd at times.
So then, in that sense, you couldn't really tell me what you would do because you need to see how they react first.
And it's right there on the spot.
Okay,
that's how
it's on the spot.
Grijalva does it.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's good at it too. He's good at looking out for it, but the one that does it best is Jose, I think, because he's been doing it for so many years that he knows the crowds already, and he knows exactly what to showcase.
Okay. So then let me adjust the question. If you wanted to showcase what you enjoy, this is a very selfish thing, I must admit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were tasked with sharing with somebody 45 minutes of what you like to sing, of what you like to play.
But probably more on the singing part.
45 minutes is like 15 songs.
Rancheras.
Uh-huh.
Probably like rancheras and boleros. I feel like crowds mainly enjoy rancheras. I'm being completely honest. Like if anybody sings a ranchera like during the weekend, like I feel like you get a pretty good reaction. Especially like if it's a song that brings back nostalgia for that one client, that one table, or that one party. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for example, like when I was a kid, like when my dad would see mariachis walking around to the tables, he'd always ask for the same song, like and it has a meaning for him too, you know. And I feel like that's how I kind of think of those tables when they ask for songs. There's a backstory to it, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. That's kind of hard to picture. Never really thought about that.
You never really had to because it's Grijalva or it's Jose.
Yeah. And if Grijalva isn't there, it's Pepe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pepe's good about it too. He's good about calling out the songs. I've always wanted to try it one day, but I'm like, I don't know. Kind of a lot of pressure. But I would like to try one day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are the rancheras and the boleros that you like to sing? Like when Grijalva says, hey, you're up, you're singing this one, you're like,
Honestly, any song that I sing is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like singing anything and everything. I think I need to push myself to learn more. That way I can, you know, just know that song in case anybody requests it. But any song that he puts me up to sing, like I'm ready for it.
Of course. The other day, I saw a video. You sang. Did you sing "I Just Called to Say I Love You" in the
Yes,
last
we
week?
we do the Stevie cover. The
How
Stevie,
long? How long
Wonder
have you been doing that?
cover.
I've never seen y'all do that.
I think I've been doing it since. I'd say I learned it the first year that I got in, like around October-ish, because we were going to Mariachi, the Casa Mariachi in Guadalajara, and they love when we play English stuff over there. So we did that one, and Jose told me to learn the Stevie Wonder part, English part.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. Yeah, that's a fun one. Yeah, the crowd, depending on, like I said, like for songs like that, it depends on the crowd too.
Right.
Like usually, like when there's like non-Latinos there, like when it's you know it's
More Americans.
right? More Americans, like that's when they know the song, and we'll be like, I just called to say, and then put the microphone at them to see if they sing it.
If they'll sing along.
Usually they do. The first time it's usually a miss, because we'll just go for it, and then they're like, oh, I love you, and they're like in the middle
They're
of
not
chewing.
ready?
Yeah. The second time always hits better. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Is there any song vocally that you want to add to the repertoire that you would like to sing one day at the?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot that I would love to add. But you know, it's always up to Jose whether he wants to bring that song out too. He has a bunch of ideas. But if I could, like, there's a lot that I would love to sing. Like, I love a lot of boleros, a lot of trio stuff. I love Luis Miguel. I love Jose. Javier Solís. I love all that stuff. I don't know. There's a lot, and I think maybe in the near future, like we could possibly do them. But I'm always bringing up like to Jose. Like I'm like, pull this song back out, or let's do this song. I'm like, I love it. I like try to hint it to him. Yeah.
Such as?
I've always asked him if he would ever do a arrangement to La Gloria Eres Tú, which I don't know if he has or not, but I do love that one. I love doing that one at karaoke sometimes when I go out. No Me Platiques Más is another good one. La Puerta. I keep telling him to bring back out Contigo Aprendí. That's one of my favorite arrangements of his. The strings, they go off on that recording.
All four of those songs are interpreted by Luis Miguel off of those Romances albums in the 90s.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then, No Me Platiques Más, also Jose does it too. That's my favorite rendition.
Oh, you're right.
Jose is, that's daddy.
That's everyone's daddy. Do you also, when was the last time you sang Contigo a la Distancia, the group? Because I think there are 2 recordings that Sol has done of that one. Or is it just the one?
Just the one.
Okay, just the one.
Yeah, just the one. I've rehearsed it a couple times with them, but I don't think we've ever done it live. Or I've never done it live with them yet. I know they have, but
I think they did it live at Santa Cecilia in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
they also did it in Texas too. When I was there with Aslan, they went for Festiva.
Mm-hmm.
I know they performed it there. But that's another good one too. That's
another one that Luis Miguel sings.
That's
as well.
another good one. What's another one? You know what's funny? When Jose brought up the idea of romances, I had told him that I wanted to sing Vereda Tropical.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did. But he was like, no, I got a better one for you. Yo Quería. And he put Pepe to sing Vereda, which it came out bomb. That's a hell of an arrangement. But yeah, that's Javier Solís right there. Vereda.
I haven't heard his version.
Oh, it's beautiful. Listen to it with the in the New York album with the symphony. Bomb. Te Quiero Dijiste is on there. That's another one that Jose has an arrangement for it. I think we rehearsed it once. I think he wanted Moises to sing it or something like that. But that's another one of my favorites too.
Which one was that one again?
Te Quiero Dijiste.
Te Quiero Dijiste.
Muñequita linda de cabellos de oro, de dientes de perla, labios de rubí. Dime si me quieres como yo te quiero. Si de mí te acuerdas. Da, 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 da. A veces escucho. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, I mean, that whole album is great.
With the
It has,
Symphony in New York.
yeah, it has Así, it has Solamente una vez, it has what's another one? I don't know. It's got a bunch. It's got a bunch of good hits on there. Noche y Dia, Frank Sinatra's Night and Day.
Oh, in Spanish.
Yeah. And then Frank Sinatra also did Se te olvida. Da, 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 da. It's called Yellow Days.
Oh, I didn't know that he
Yeah.
sang that
Mhm.
song.
Good.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
Speaking of Frank and Javier Solis and Luis Miguel, who of those vocalists, and between Jose Jose and among others, do you think you take after the most?
Probably Luis Miguel.
Okay.
I feel like our color voices are kind of similar, and the range is a little bit easier for me too. Jose, like his stuff's fun to mimic, but it's hard sometimes.
Because he sings so.
He sings so soft. He sings. The
That's so-
lyrics are. His lyrics are a little bit hard to pronounce too at the same time with some of his songs. And then Javier Solis too. I like singing. Vicente, I like singing too. In English, I mean obviously Sinatra. I like singing along with Sinatra and Bobby Darin.
Other than My Way, because I think everybody sings My Way, is there anything else by Frank? Other than My Way, New York, New York. I know for sure you sing those. Is there anything else by Frank that's in the repertoire at the moment?
With Sol?
Yes, with Sol.
No.
It's just those two songs.
No, just those two.
Right. For selfish reasons, I'm asking because I would love to hear The Way You Look Tonight. Because that song, if you've heard that recording, very trumpet heavy.
Yeah, I love that
And so are
recording.
y'all.
Just the way you look tonight. I love that one. My other favorite that I've done, I even sang it when we performed in Wisconsin. There was like a jazz quartet or
In
quintet
Wisconsin?
there. Yeah, we went to Wisconsin.
Word?
Yeah,
Madison, or where'd you go?
there's a
in
video on
Wisconsin?
my Instagram of me singing "Days of Wine and Roses."
Is that a Frank?
Yeah,
Sinatra
it's a
song?
Frank one. That's
Uh-huh.
one of my favorite Frank ones. I think it's a classic around the big band era. But I like the way Frank does it. The horn section on that recording is cool too. Yeah, so I give it a shot with that jazz quintet. And we did like a little scatting because the saxophone was like, "You should do some scatting," and I was like, "Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo." This is like just messing around with the wine in my hand in my red suit. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that I get to expand my horizons one day and like sing with bands like that, with Latin jazz bands, or on the side while doing Sol, like maybe something during the week, or I don't know, but maybe or in the near future, I don't know, but I would like to expand my repertoire singing.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Because I grew up enjoying all music. Even now, I enjoy all music. I love mariachi. Mariachi is the love of my life, but I love music in general. That's my baby. I love music.
How often does music play a part in your life? Is it ever off?
No,
It's always
Always.
ubiquitous, as it were, always present.
I always have a song in my head. When I would have my piano out, I would always get on the piano. Like growing up at home, like I grew up around it. My dad would always have music on. He'd always have noise on, whether it was the TV while he practices, or whether he had a song on, or I don't know, something. Or sometimes his noise was my practicing the piano as a kid while he would practice too. It was all around me growing up. I would go to the rehearsals. I would see them perform at my tia used to have a boutique at this place called Monterey Court in Tucson, and it's like this little mercado where they had a stage and everything, and they would perform there. I even performed with them once on congas.
Congas?
Yeah,
Like the percussion?
yeah, congas
Oh.
too. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I gotta find the videos to that. I know there's videos, but it's been so long. Yeah, but I even did a performance with congas on them too, and even did like a trumpet solo thing to like I think it was a song by Caifanes, something like that. Yeah, it was cool.
Algo tropical? Something?
I think
Is
it was.
Caifanes?
Yeah, I think it was Kumbala. That's the song.
Uh-huh.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but it was cool. Like that felt nice. That felt different. And I was doing mariachi at the same time too, so that was like my first time doing something that wasn't mariachi on stage. That was pretty cool, and I hope I get to do it again.
I was gonna ask what you would do if you weren't a musician, but can you even imagine your life
No, I
outside the
can't.
context of not
I can't.
being a musician?
I'm dying with music. I've told my family, I've told Celeste a million times, I'm dying with music.